everybody, it's Curtis from ORCVirtual. So today's question for you is, what is the difference between a leader and a manager? And if you do a Google search, you're going to find a lot of different opinions and a lot of approaches to what I think is really the same answer. But I want to ask the question slightly different. Are you the shepherd of your business, or are you the sheepdog? Many years ago, I had the privilege of working with a gentleman that I refer to as my mentor, Pastor Harold. Pastor Harold was pastoring a small country church, and the night before, they had a council meeting, and it got a little heated. People were really passionate about their opinions, and it got kind of heated, but they made a decision and headed in that direction. Well, the next morning, an elderly lady who did not want to head in that direction came into his office yelling and screaming. She was quite upset. So Pastor Harold just listened to her. He just sat there and listened to her tell her story. And during her dialogue, she said, "You are the shepherd of this flock. That's why we brought you here." And he interrupted her. And he sat back in his chair in a deep Southern accent, and he said, "My dear, dear lady, I am not the shepherd of this flock. Jesus Christ is the shepherd of this flock. I am merely a sheepdog. So if you don't mind leaving my office before I bite your ankles, that would be great." And the lady got up in a huff, and she walked out of the office. Harold was right. He was spot on. He's not the shepherd or the savior of that church. He was called to be a sheepdog. See, the flock generally knows where they are going. They know where they need to be in the morning, where they need to be in the afternoon, and where they're going at night. They know that. They stick together, and they care for each other, and the tribe moves forward. But they need a sheepdog. Because once in a while, one of them will start to go astray, and the sheepdog will just kind of run alongside them, try to bring them back in. If the sheep isn't really cooperating, that sheepdog may have to bite their ankles, nip at their ankles, or scare them a little bit, scare them back into the fold. So are you the shepherd or the sheepdog of your company? Sandra Day O'Connor is quoted, and I have to look over here for the quote. She is quoted as saying, "The really expert riders of horses let the horse know immediately who is in control, but then guide the horse with loose reins and seldom use the spurs." Are you finding yourself as the boss at work that you're having to tighten those reins all the time? Are you finding yourself having to dig in those spurs because things aren't getting done? Maybe you're too busy being a manager and not a leader. If you let people know who you are, what they can expect from you, and what you expect from them, and then you equip and empower them to succeed, and then just get out of their way, you'll be really surprised what they will do for you. You'll become a leader. A couple of years ago, this is probably actually about 10 years ago, I was given an opportunity to move from a regular office position to the position of manager within that same office. And I had to think about what that meant to those who were my fellow coworkers, but would become, in corporate terms, my subordinates. I don't like that word, but that's the corporate language. They would become my subordinates. They would have to answer to me. And I needed to think about that. I did end up accepting the position, but with one contingency, that I would be allowed to spend at least 1 week shadowing every position in that office so that I can support them in what they do. Knowing what every single person has to go through in order to accomplish the goals is key to a great leader. Managers and leaders are two completely different types of people. We've all worked for managers, and unfortunately, many of them are micromanagers, but I hope you have had the opportunity to work with a leader. Did you catch the change in my sentence there? I'll repeat it. I said work for managers or work with a leader. You see, a leader is going to work with you. They're going to help shape you. They're going to equip and empower you, and they're going to help you see your gifts and graces and how you can foster them, and they're going to encourage you, and you're going to grow out of all of that experience. A leader will allow you to go in the direction you need to head to get the job done. As I said, the sheep know where to go. They know where they need to be, but the sheepdog is there, if they get off course. So are you being a sheepdog in your business? Are you being a leader, or are you being a manager? If you insist on pulling on those reins and digging in those spurs all the time and asserting your authority, you're a manager. And we've all worked for managers, and I don't think I know too many people that really like to work for those type of managers. But I know a lot of people who love to work and thrive working with a leader. I would love for you to take a few moments and share in the comments section a time in your life when you worked with a great leader and how that made an impact on your personal and professional life. So are you the shepherd, or are you the sheepdog? I'd love to hear from you. Thanks.